The state-sponsored Python Challenge down in Florida has already accomplished a couple of things that many Americans don't typically associate with government these days. It's making a couple of dollars, and it's delivering some results. But is it delivering enough results? Today we're taking a deep dive into this snake hunt. It's become the talk of South Florida. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is enlisting the public's help in getting rid of Burmese pythons that have invaded the Everglades. It's not a small task. Some of these pythons grow up to 26 feet. They can weigh over 200 pounds, and folks, they eat everything. Not just rabbits and raccoons, bobcats and deer. Look at this python photographed trying to constrict a full-grown American alligator. In this picture, a snake actually burst when trying to swallow a 6-foot gator. Truth is, there's not much these snakes won't try and eat.
The entire ecological apple cart is being upset by this invasive species, and they are devouring everything that Mother Nature intended to be in the Everglades.
Florida Senator Bill Nelson joined more than 1,000 hunters from at least 30 states to take aim at the pythons hiding in the swamps. Participants have to take a safety class, plunk down a $25 entry fee. Unfortunately, the vast majority of them will walk away empty-handed. With the hunt now entering its final week, only 41 pythons have been killed, and that's despite the fact that researchers say there could be tens of thousands of pythons in the Everglades, most likely the descendants of snakes set free by their owners. The problem is the snakes know the swamps now better than the hunters do.
They're pretty camouflaged, actually hard to find. You can get real close to one and still may not even see them because they're so camouflaged. I think that's what makes them tough to hunt, because they're hard to find.
Florida officials say the hunt is meant to raise awareness as well as help cut down the snake population. It doesn't hurt that even after cash prizes are given out, the state could pick up over $20,000 just from entry fees. Florida Democratic Senator Bill Nelson joins me right now. Senator Nelson, I know you've been working on this issue of trying to create better laws having to do with people importing these reptiles into the state of Florida. Is there any natural predator that the python has besides man in the Everglades right now?
Only an 8-foot alligator or larger. Other than that, these snakes are at the top of the food chain. That picture that you showed of Ronnie Bergeron and me holding that snake, that was just a 13-footer. You ought to see what the 17 to 20-foot snakes look like.
And just to clarify, not a single one of these snakes is native to the Everglades, correct?
That's correct. They come from Burma, thus the Burmese python, and the Everglades becomes a natural habitat. The only way that we're going to get rid of them, believe it or not, is cold weather. The superintendent of the Everglades National Park a couple of years told me that he thinks there may be as many as 150,000 of them in the Everglades.
So why only have a small amount of hunt? Why not make this, I mean, right now it's trying to create a sport out of it, invite hunters down to get these snakes. Do you feel like we're at a crisis point where maybe, Fish and Wildlife there needs to be actual resources put to this that has the Fish and Wildlife folks doing this hunt, making it mandatory that they get rid of these pythons?
Yes, we have to. We have to try. One of the hunters there told you in the piece that it's very, very hard to see them. So we've got to find new methods. The first method was to get the Department of Interior to change the rules so that people couldn't import these snakes. You ought to see, that took us 2 years with all the pet store owners fighting us the whole way.
No, I understand that with this. I mean, it is, but you still have sort of the illegal snakes that are brought in. I mean, is this law helped at all? I know that when Interior did this, when Ken Salazar announced it, in fact, I think I had you on at that time when this happened, since this has become no pun intended, a pet issue of mine. But has it had any impact?
It is beginning to. First of all, you have to start with saying they're not coming into the country. Hope that we get another cold snap that will kill off a number of them, but keep looking for methods by which we can find these snakes. Otherwise, they're going to take over the Everglades. One of the things we've got to do, Chuck, is we've got to allow the hunting of these snakes in the Everglades National Park. That's where we are estimating 150,000, and we haven't been able to hunt there. The hunt that's going on is around in the other areas surrounding the park.
Surrounding the Everglades, so not in the park itself. What would it take to allow the hunt to go into the park itself?
You have to get an administrative ruling that will make an exception hunting these snakes because it's going to upturn the environment. Otherwise, you can't hunt in a national park.
And are you lobbying the Obama administration for this?
Of course.
And what is the holdup? What's taking them? Why? What is their hesitation?
Well, as you can see, you've got a lot of people that resist any kind of change, and I give you the example, it took us 2 years just to stop the importation because of resistance.
Let me ask you one quick question about some Senate business. Are you fully confident that Chuck Hagel can do the job of Secretary of Defense? Do you have any hesitation based on that confirmation hearing?
I have the confidence in Chuck. I was surprised that he was not more direct in his answers. He could have been more straightforward. I think he would have come off better. But Chuck is an enormously competent patriot, and he will do well as Secretary.
All right, Senator Bill Nelson, Democrat from the state of Florida. Appreciate the update on this python issue, and we'll be waiting to hear what the Obama administration does and responds to the idea of expanding it to the national park itself. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chuck.